I love that you have clouds behind you. We should name one Datadog and one Cloudflare. We would be all set. All right. So these two, I was excited when Brian decided to put this time slot on the calendar, because these are two of my most recent buys, and this is the first earnings review I've seen with them since I've been a shareholder. So kind of a fun thing for me too. Just a reminder of what Cloudflare does. I forgot their mission. I was going to have the slide for it, but they're focused on making a better internet for everyone. So they have products in the security space, in performance and reliability. And you can see there's a bunch of different products in there, as well as sort of the platform to make it all run. Q4, quick highlights. There's tons of highlights. And I was scratching my head to figure out some lowlights. The cash flows are still negative and they're still not profitable, but I wouldn't want those to be in any other way with this high growth company. So let's just dive into the numbers and see what happened. This is revenue and customer numbers. So revenue increased. You see this, let me just explain the columns here. Q4 2019, so that's a year ago. This is Q3 2020, so that's a quarter ago. So we can look at quarter over quarter change. They increased 10% quarter over quarter, which is pretty solid, and a 50% year over year change. Cost of revenue went up a little bit faster year over year, but the gross profit as a percentage of revenue is still pretty solid and stable. Total customers went up 32%, but check this out. Customers, their largest customers paying more than $100,000 a year annually went up 57%. That's really exciting. Dollar-based net revenue, year over year, it's flat, but it's taken a little dip this year, and we'll talk about why they've seen this increase here quarter over quarter, which is a positive indication. Just as an indication, about half of the revenues come from the US, and a little more than half comes from the US, and both Europe and the US are growing super fast. Asia Pacific, they're kind of starting out that business, and they're working on getting a better sales force and go-to-market process established in that region. Operating expenses, if you look at this year-over-year change, the total top-line revenue is 50%. So I always like to see it when sales and marketing doesn't rise as fast as revenue, R&D didn't rise as fast, G&A was the lowest gain year over year. Good stuff, guys. So total operating expenses are starting to scale with the business. You can see that this is year over year. A year ago, they were spending 14% more than total revenue on these three expense categories, and now it's dropped a little bit. You would think that would make a big dollar loss at the bottom line, but it's only about 34 million. And when you have a $1 billion in cash, that allows you to last just under 8 years, assuming nothing else changed. So plenty of cash to run this business and continue to invest in growth. Their financial outlook, which may be why the stock took a little bit of a dip after earnings yesterday, 43% year over year in Q1, and then they took the full year outlook to be a 37%. And they talked a little bit about being cautious and prudent, and still a lot of unknowns about spending and how that's going to go in the upcoming year. There's reason I think that this number is a low ball, and I'll talk about that in a minute. I was excited to read through the earnings call this time around. Matthew Prince is their co-founder, chairman, and CEO, and he had a lot of great quotes. I'm not going to read all these to you, just hit the highlights. Large customers now make up 49% of the business. Their land and expand is rocking. The dollar-based net retention, which popped up to 119, is primarily driven by customers adopting their expanded portfolio. And I love this quote: the cross-sell opportunities seem to go together like peanut butter and jelly. So you remember that first slide where we showed all the different products. Customers can choose whether they want performance, security, reliability, start there, and then add over time. And that's why the dollar-based net retention is such a solid number. They had a record quarter of paying customer additions. Like that. Customer wins: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, count them, $5 million plus multi-year deals, and a couple of them multi-million-dollar deals. Not bad, not a bad quarter at all. And Matthew Prince said, we continue to see real strength in getting customers to adopt the overall solution, not just one little product. So they're growing in multiple ways. Innovation is the fuel, is the energy that fuels Cloudflare. They are definitely an R&D focused team, and that because those teams keep delivering, the sales team's more successful. An example of how they're winning is their Cloudflare Workers products. Their edge computing platform had more than 50,000 new developers use it for the first time. That's more than doubled since in the last 6 months. So that's super solid. This is just a preview of what Cloudflare does. You write the code, we handle the rest. Deploy serverless code instantly across the globe to give it exceptional performance. Check this out: from sign up to globally delivered in less than 5 minutes. Wow, that's a pretty exciting product. I think this is my last slide. Interestingly, less than 5% of their revenue comes from usage-based products. So when traffic spikes, the cost spikes, but revenue doesn't follow. But customers love this. CEO Prince said the last thing anybody wanted in 2020 was a surprise bill. And some of the cybersecurity companies, you get a cyber attack, and I love this quote: you get a bigger bill from your provider, and then the provider is not that much different than the attacker themselves. Both of them are costing you. And then CFO, this is sort of my favorite number in the whole deal. Brian, this is way different than what we talked about Alteryx the other day. Remaining performance obligations, which is all of the contracts that they have signed and what they have yet to deliver, that's already in kind of customers have promised to write checks to them, is 384 million, representing a 12% increase sequentially and 75% year over year. So looking at that first quarter growth number of 40-something%, when you get remaining performance obligations increasing 75% year over year, that bodes well for the future. So excited about Cloudflare's quarter.